Hey everyone, welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD. And today we'll be reviewing and analyzing chapter 1025 of One Piece. This was a really cool chapter. It was super hype. There's certain chapters I read and I'm like, this was a great chapter. And there's certain chapters I read where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see this animated. This is one of those chapters that I can't wait to see animated, and I think we'll do a lot better as a whole in an animated format. Does it mean it read terribly? No, it just kind of felt like, not, I don't want to say rushed, but I think the anime will be able to play up some of the tones and the themes that happen in this. Anyway, if this is your first time on this channel, I would really appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe. Bang that bell. It would mean the world to me. Join my League of Otaku. I'm trying to, build a nice little audience right now, and, it would help me out. So anyway, with much further ado, let's get into the review. All right, guys, chapter 1025 of One Piece Twin Dragons, or whatever the official release is going to name it. I'm thinking about possibly, maybe starting to do my early reviews, and then maybe when the actual chapter comes out, doing an extended, expanded review with that information that comes out, just because I'm noticing that there are some, discrepancies and changes here and there that could, be affecting my ability to properly analyze. I could just wait till Sunday, but I do like getting in first. I'm very impatient, and also I think it gives me a shot at getting some views before the the main One Piece YouTubers. So that's something I'm thinking about. Also, something I wanted to clarify before I get into this review. Last chapter, I don't know what I was smoking. I was on little sleep. I'd said something to the effect of Yamato lied about where she got Oden's logbook. I don't know why. I thought I read that the samurai had given it to her, but no, she showed it to the samurai and they were equally as surprised that she had it. So yeah, I don't, let's just chalk that up to I haven't the fondest. Anyway, this chapter starts off with Momo and Luffy bickering. Luffy's trying to get to the damn top of the skull. He's trying to fight Kaido. And Momo's just like, all right, like, I'm gonna go. Just like, give me a second. And this part really cracked me up because it kind of reminds you of me when I'm going to like the pool or the beach with my Taekwondo students. I don't know at what point this happened, but I used to just like run in and deal with the cold. But now, like, oh, I gotta like build up to it. I gotta like get hype. And so like they're always trying to like force me in before I'm ready. I'm like, look, I'm gonna get in. Just give me a second. I gotta steal my nerves. He's like, we gotta go now. And so I really love the back and forth between them. One was like, I know. Luffy's like, we gotta go. If we don't go, the longer it takes us there, the more damage Kaido is going to do. He isn't aware that Yamato's up there, so like Kaido could be doing anything at this point, and that has Luffy legitimately worried. And Momo's like, yeah, I get it. We're gonna go. And I just love how you have Shinobu and the Heart Pirates just kind of sitting there watching, and you can see like concern on Shinobu's face. Meanwhile, like with the Heart Pirates, it seems more of a sense of doubt. It seems more along the lines of, I don't know, man, can they really do this? Like I can really feel the sense of doubt coming from them. Like I think they kind of believe in Luffy, like to a degree, especially because Law has probably talked Luffy up to his crew. He's probably been like, he's an idiot, but he gets shit done. But like this Momo kid, like as long as everyone has known him, he's been kind of like a shriveling little kid. And just because he got aged up physically, that doesn't mean anything happened to him mentally. So they are right to be a little bit concerned. And I think we are all a little bit concerned. All right, so we move back to the roof and we see Yamato versus Kaido, and it's kind of a change of pace from the last chapter because now we're seeing Yamato use a lot of moves that sound very samurai-like. And in the translator notes, there were literal translations, but also there are other ways of taking it, and the other ways of taking it were all from Kabuki plays, once again playing into that kabuki theme that Oda has been laying out since the beginning of Wano. Now, a lot of people are really confused about what's happening in the story right now because, I'm going to be real with you. I think it's predominantly because of content creators. A lot of content creators felt like this was going to be a 5 act kabuki play, and we've been on act 3 for quite some time now. You have people like Mr. Morge that think the raid is going to end in failure. I never dismiss anything, but it's just kind of seeming past that point. A lot of people still think that, Kaido is like not Kaido, but Luffy and Yamato are going to lose again, and there's going to be another time. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like this was a big moment for Momo and Luffy and like Yamato to be up there. So I do think there will be another setback, but I don't really see them getting knocked down again. But getting knocked down kind of parallels to how the Big Mom Pirates have been continuously getting knocked down. And so that's something to think about, both in terms of the parallels between that and where the hell the Big Mom Pirates are currently. Also, Perospero might get killed by Nekomamushi, and so may possibly one, the Smoothie or the rest of the Big Mom Pirates show up in time to rescue him. So there's a lot going on there. Anyway, during this entire fight, Kaido seems to be doing what parents do best and projecting a lot of their own personal self doubts, insecurities, and feelings about the world onto that of their children. And he basically just keeps insinuating that, like, no one will ever love you, no one will ever trust you. Your blood is your blood. You will always be, the son of an Oni, right? And by the way, speaking of that, is he actually confirming that he is not a human, that he is an Oni, and that is why he is in fact Kaido, the King of Beasts? Or is this more figurative? Like, he's known as the King of Beasts, he's considered an Oni, and so he's just running with that epithet, right? He's just running with the idea of what people call him. I'm an Oni. I'm playing into that theme. The reason that I don't think we should just jump in and assume that this is like a literal meaning is literally that the entirety of Wano has been showcasing multiple yokai and subverting our expectations of them, right? We've had like, Brook called something. We had the Kitsune, and for the longest time we thought the Kitsune could naturally just turn into different things because that's part of the Kitsune lore. However, the Kitsune we have could only transform into an on Yudo because of a devil fruit. But then we have people like Katarina Devos that have the Kitsune fruit that can turn into anything. So there's a lot of subversions and things that Oda is playing with here. So I don't want to just buy into this whole confirmed, Kaido is an Oni, Yamato is an Oni kind of type deal quite yet. I think there's still more than meets the eye there. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if Kaido was possibly everyone has been saying this from the jump that he is possibly an ancient giant, right? However, he is way, way, way too small to be an ancient giant. Massive in terms of a human and regular people, even though he's still shorter than Big Mom, but pales in comparison to ancient giants who were even taller than modern giants of today. So, I had a theory that he might be a runt, even though still being a runt, he's still rather small for a giant. But there is that possibility that, hey, he's a runt and, maybe he holds some bitterness. Maybe he has a bit of a Napoleon complex because of that. Maybe growing up because he was a runt, he didn't get to fit in with, the giants, right? But he also didn't get to fit in with the regular people, and he was kind of treated like a devil, kind of like how Nico Robin and other people in the One Piece story had been treated, like a man with no land, and then he was finally accepted and embraced by the Xebec pirates. Or maybe he wasn't, because he goes on further to say, even when people take you in, it's not because they actually care about you. It's not because they love you. It's simply to use you for what you are, what you can do. We know Kaido has Conqueror's Haki. We know that, if he is, an ancient giant, or maybe, a half giant, or maybe some kind of, divergent species that sprung from the ancient giants. You know, he has a lot of power to him, as we see right now with like what he can do. His potential was definitely met. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Zebek tried to use him, if people during the course of his, you know, growing up, you know, abused him. We know he lost a lot of fights. He went through a lot. We know he's super suicidal. So, you know, I cannot wait for eventually when we do get an inevitable Kaido flashback and we can learn more about this character. I don't plan on forgiving him, you know, even if it's sad or whatnot, even if he was let down. But I really truly believe that there is more than meets the eye when it comes to Kaido. And, you know, we were told last chapter that he's trying to kill Yamato, right? But I'm not buying it because, like, if he really wanted to kill Momo, if he really wanted to kill Yamato, if he really wanted to kill Luffy, I feel like they would be fucking dead. Like I just truly believe that. But for some reason, he just seems to be keeping them alive, maybe to fulfill the Joy Boy prophecy, maybe to see, maybe he knows that, you know, people crucibles being forged in fire create, you know, extreme beings. Maybe being forged through fire is what created him, and that's the only parenting method he knows. He knows that, you know, going through like adversity and whatnot made him the person he is today, and that's what these guys need to go through. I don't know, but there is a lot that meets the eye. And speaking of which, I think that's another reason that he has such a relationship with Big Mom, and that's why Big Mom considers him a little brother to a degree, because I think that the same way she grew up, where, you know, Big Mom was actually a really kind-hearted girl. Her only flaw was the hunger pangs that made her act out of character. Other than that, she was sweet, she was nice, she was compassionate, she was caring outside of, you know, when she got hungry. And so I think she understands to a degree about, you know, being used and being manipulated or being feared because of who she was. And I do think that a part of her does understand, and that's why no one is allowed to talk bad about Mother Caramel, that Mother Caramel was using her, that she was selling children as slaves to the world government, and that she was next. But she doesn't like to think about it. She's in denial. And I really do hope that that whole memory loss and amnesia thing comes to play, because I do think it's just her protecting herself from a traumatic experience. I also love how he calls Yamato his son. It's almost as if he's more okay with her being trans than he is with her being Odin, because we did learn last chapter that Yamato is in fact a woman. She is a girl. She doesn't identify as a man. She mainly identifies as Odin. So I just found that to be interesting how Kaido still goes about calling her son. So I found that to be extremely interesting. But like I said, it just seems weird how he's claiming to kill Yamato, but it doesn't really seem that way. The like for the last like what 2-3 panels, Yamato has been out of breath, barely hanging on, and Kaido just more or less seems fine. He's just hanging out there, he's just cooling, playing catch with his kid almost. So I just, like I said, I really think that there's more going on there. Despite what I said last review, and like I said, I'm still okay if Yamato by the end of all this decides to stay on. Wano decides not to repeat Odin's mistake and leave Wano to its own devices and stay there as its protector, stay there as, you know, a daimyo to Momo. But just based on her flashback, based on the fact that she never got to experience what having a true family was like, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself because we do not know the time period spent where she was evading Kaido and lived with the samurai. So maybe she did get to experience a family and live with them for quite some time. But I feel like the timelines don't add up. It seems like shortly after they broke out, the daimyo went to go fight Kaido and got killed. So yeah, I don't really think she got to experience what it was like to have a kind, compassionate, caring family that loves her. And so, you know, that's kind of what, you know, going to the Straw Hats would provide her, and what has been provided for the other members of the Straw Hats, right? Speaking of which, she seems to have a massive identity crisis because, you know, she wants to be Odin, and in this chapter, we're seeing her use a lot of samurai-like moves, right? But last chapter, she was using a lot of, you know, Kaido's move from the ringing arrow. I know that translation is not correct, but that's the easiest way I can remember it. From the ringing arrow to the what's that junk called? Thunder Bagua. Like all that stuff is Kaido. So she just seems to be having this massive identity crisis of who she is and what she wants. And she's like even Kaido says, you seem to think you're from Wano, yada yada yada, but you're the son of an Oni, yada yada yada. So I don't know, man. There's a lot going on here that I know that Oda is going to expertly bring back into play. Anyway, Luffy finally gets Momo to airborne, finally, but Momo decides the entire time he's gonna keep his eyes closed, which ensues in hilarity because Momo's eyes are closed, he crashes completely into Kaido's castle from the live floor all the way up and all the way up, right? And so I'm just loving the reactions of everyone watching this dragon, both some of them knowing that it's clearly not Kaido, some of them thinking it's Kaido, and we're just seeing the facial takes and reactions of everyone as they're seeing this dragon with hopefully maybe they see Luffy on top flying to the top of the rooftop. And by the way, I just want to take a second to show this specific panel, right? Because in this specific panel, you see all these people and there's shock, there's fear, there's surprise. And then you see this motherfucker, Marco. Marco the troll is what I'm going to start calling him. And he is just smirking. This entire arc, Marco has been a pleasure to be around, a pleasure to read and observe. And like, while everyone is freaking out and having these, realistic reactions, Marco is just smiling. And Marco Craft, he is just that guy that seems to be living in the moment, enjoying every moment of this. He already said last chapter that, like, he's out of it. The main players are in play now. He even almost got hit by an attack, daydreaming. And so he is just kind of just living in the moment, embracing everything as it comes. If this is his last moment, it's his last moment. However, if it's not, it's the dawn of a new day. And he's just excited to see it. He's an archaeologist. He's an historian. So this is just he's watching history in the making, and he is just loving every moment of it. And so that just cracks me up. But yeah, he's just seeming more and more like a troll and an agent of chaos every minute, and I'm loving it. However, Momo crashing through Kaido's castle does at first inherently seem to be just some kind of gag, a comedic moment. But I really do think that there is a grander plot, a glorious purpose to all this, if you will, for those of you that have seen Loki, and that Oda is hiding. Last chapter, he set up, all the Straw Hats congregating, I believe, on the live floor. There's a fire going on, and if you know anything about fires, I was recently camping. If you create airflow and stuff like that, the fire is going to spread faster. Kaido says something about the castle having to be rebuilt. So maybe eventually they're going to rebuild Odin Castle after they win all this. Maybe, the castle will get destroyed. And while, Onigashima is falling and, we're going to have to assume Momo is going to hold it possibly, or like I want, Luffy is going to destroy it. Maybe it's going to perfectly land on the now destroyed Kaido Castle. There's a lot going on here. We're going to find out. Or maybe there's something inside that skull. And so when it lands, everyone on the live floor is going to think, oh no, they're dead. Luffy's going to go into a blind rage thinking all his friends have been murdered, crushed by this island. But actually they're the inside of the skull. And it's going to reveal, there's maybe treasure in there, maybe some poneglyphs. Who the hell knows? I'm just riffing. I'm just spitballing ideas. Anyway, I love the panel right before Yamato is about to prepare her next attack. By the way, Divine Step sounds really interesting. I think it's going to come in again. That sounds like a really good basis, kind of like a Gear second kind of deal to give her a speed boost or something of that sort. So I really did like that Divine Step. I'm really interested in what the original translation calls it. But I love how before, as she's preparing her next attack, you just see Momo in the far background, just puffing and puffing, flying, just freaking out. And Kaido's like, oh, what the fuck is that? He's completely distracted. And so you see, but yeah, it seems Yamato is exhausted and is back in her base form. And we see Luffy enter Gear 4 momentarily to launch a combination attack with Yamato. And I love how when Luffy told Momo Kaido was there, he instantly opens his eyes, right? Like he has this massive fear of heights, right? But his fear of heights pairs in comparison to his, anger at Kaido and his determination and his will to confront him, the murderer of his dad, the oppressor of his kingdom, the usurper of his throne. So he says, F it, screw fear, opens his eyes and heads straight to Kaido. And that was a really awesome, tremendous growth moment, in my opinion, right? Anyway, they do land their attacks, but honestly, it doesn't seem to amount to much. Yes, it hit them, but I don't really think it phased Kaido. I think the only reason it really hit Kaido is just the fact he was more like confused and perplexed and like perturbed by like what was going on with Momo, who that dragon was, and that confusion just allowed him to like be taken by surprise. But in terms of damage done, I don't know, man. Kaido's been going forever. He has been going forever. He has been tackling forever. From Law, Luffy, Killer, Zoro, to Yamato, to like just all the like the entire fights. He's just still there, rearing to go, and that's honestly terrifying. Anyway, Luffy immediately withdraws Gear Fourth, most likely to conserve his haki. So I'm glad that he's thinking smart. He's being wise. I have a feeling we're about to see a new gear coming up soon, or a new utilization of haki now that he knows a little bit more about how to use his Conqueror's haki. Several chapters ago, he was before he got knocked off, he was about to use some kind of move, but it took too long. Maybe he was too exhausted. Maybe he was too tired. It didn't work out. So maybe Luffy has since then come up with a plan to execute whatever he was trying to do before, right? Anyway, I also love how legitimately happy Yamato and Luffy are to see each other. Yamato's like, Luffy! And Luffy's like, Yama, bro! So they're really happy to see each other. That brought a smile to my face. And I love how he tells Yamato, you were keeping Kaido busy for us. He doesn't say me, he says us. Obviously including Momo into this fight because he knows how important this fight is to Momo. He knows how involved Momo needs to be in this fight. How like this isn't just a moment for Luffy to come in and fight the big bad. No, it's not just about that. It's about everyone that, Kaido's been oppressing, from Momo to Yamato to the entirety of Wano, right? So I don't know, it's a small little thing, but I do love that inclusion. Right after that, another phenomenal panel scene where Momo doesn't miss a beat, says, I'm Momonosuke Kazuki, son, I don't know if he says this, but son of Odin, and I'm the man that's going to be the Shogun of Wano. That was tough. And then Luffy, even though no one asked his ass, is like, and I'm Luffy, I'm the man that's gonna be king of the pirates. And way to try to jack my man's spotlight, but you know what? You are gonna be king of the pirates, so I get it. So that was incredible. Yamato says something that honestly I felt like a complete idiot about. We've always called Momo a pink dragon, but actually she says a peach dragon, kind of like the Peach Boy Momotaro myth that we've been talking about. And now we have on the rooftop Momotaro, we have the monkey, we have the dog in Yamato, and now all we're missing is the pheasant, right? And for the longest time, first people thought it was going to be the admirals. The admirals were going to show up. That wasn't the case. It was a subversion. And now, a lot of people were thinking, okay, it's going to be Luffy. Ever since the dog fruit was announced, all right, they're like, all right, easy. Luffy, Yamato, Marco. But Marco already said in the last chapter, he's out. His role is done. He's played his part. So I'm very curious who the bird's going to be. Is it going to be, someone showing up later? I don't think it's going to be King. Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around who the pheasant could be. We know that it could either be a literal pheasant, it could be a figurative pheasant, just like how Luffy is a figurative monkey, and technically, I guess you could say Yamato is a figurative monkey. Not monkey, dog, because it's her fruit and not her, and it's not even a real dog. It's the Kagami, right? So I'm gonna be racking my brain for a while. So yeah, no chapter next week, But all in all, phenomenal chapter. I'm super excited. Oda, you deserve a break. When I was younger, I really hated these breaks. I've matured a little and I can kind of handle them. Still upset, don't get me wrong, but it does warrant a break. He's given us what, three back to back to back amazing chapters. So yes, absolutely go Oda, go. Take that break and come back with even more fire. Anyway, that's going to wrap up my review and analysis for this chapter. Awesome chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed the chapter and I hope you guys enjoyed my review. Please, if you haven't, take the time to like, share, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Bang that bell. Join my League of Otaku. Anyway, have a great day. Peace. Take care. Bye.